looking at the news. So there is a big debate because the one in charge of the health doesn't want the Breslev followers to go to Uman in Ukraine. And now we have a professor. She's an expert in public health. She says that Israel is now leading, the first 5 countries leading in the world, even more than US. We have 900 deceased, but it's continued to go up. And they're really worried what's going to happen if there's going to, because opening the education systems, you see people are working, digging, it's really noisy. I couldn't sleep at night. The municipalities has this project and it's causing a lot of dust and dirt and noise pollution and causing a lot of traffic jams as well. So it says here, it's really not, traveling is encouraging, contagious. What is it? When you travel, you get, oh, look at Carrot Top over there. I had to show you that. A small little comic relief. So when you're in a closed enclosures like hotels or places where people pray, it's dangerous as well as traveling in an airplane. So it's different, she says, than the demonstrations, which is usually a few hours, and demonstrations are only in the open air, whereas praying places are closed. So, yeah, we are stuck in Oman. They really are they're very inflexible. In kindergarten, they have dolls also wearing masks. Parents are very concerned, as well as I am, because I usually work for that. Yeah, this is Kushner is coming next week. Emirates, for me, it looks like a lot of weapons, dealing with weapons. So, what else? Yesterday, also a big demonstration. I do not attend demonstrations, except with animals or women concerned, and also that not. 26 fires. You don't see it here next to Gaza. When a funeral for a man who was murdered and was buried where my family is buried. In Tikva, somebody just attacked him, a very nice person, and somebody just attacked him with a huge knife. I mean, an Arab attacked him. He looks like a very kind person. Sad news, crazy. It's never quiet here. Political. This is a picture of the political battle to go to Uman, which is in Ukraine. Numbers. 244 million shekels that I lost in the first half of 2020. All the losses, I don't want to even look at it. Still the conflict continues, and the Al-Aqsa tours. They want to bring 2 million tourists, Muslim tourists, to Al-Aqsa. The Palestinians used to support it, but now they're against it. Now they have a dilemma. First, they want to have a lot of Muslims coming. Now they don't want to have them coming. And Hamas is making everything even more Um, so there's an article about the rabbi. I also wrote a letter to Aretz. I don't know if they published it. That I don't think it's the rabbi would have approved of the big chaos. So 30,000 people go to his grave every year. But it says here that it's just a political. Yeah, we have different piece. Um, so just talking about whether the peace agreement, what would have happened if we hadn't had given back Sinai? We would have had um, it's worth it. Would have had milliards from the tourism industry. It was a big compromise. Belarus. And about talking about there was a rape, and I wanted to speak about Netflix series I'm watching. 13 Reasons, I think it's called. 13 Reasons Why. It starts with the suicide of a girl who was mobbed in school, in high school, and it's really, first of all, I think it's depicted too dramatic. There's always something going on. It really keeps you on your toes. I can tell you that I really was binge watching it, so you can't really stop, because with Netflix, it's like automatically go on to the next chapter and the next one. And it's really easy to get addicted to it, but it speaks on a very important subject. And I think parents should get more involved with their children's lives. And I think it's incredible that a 16-year-old girl is alone in Eilat on vacation, and the alcohol consumption is a big danger. I remember that period when I had a despicable boyfriend for a short time who was trying to get me drunk, and I realized it though because I'm pretty smart. And I also had a very strong support system from my grandparents who were religious, so I kind of had a sense of what's right and wrong. And I had a big dilemma, but I was strong. And during school, I never dated, also for this reason, because I was afraid of things. I was also didn't find anyone I liked particularly, but I was also very focused on my studies, and I was a geek. But I can understand how things can get out of control, although not in my school. In my school, it wasn't possible because it was a very conservative school, and we had a very strong principal who was who would send people home if they were not dressed properly. There was a dress code. It was very serious. And I think it is a problem now with drinking. Definitely drinking and rape are connected. And that's the problem. Not the men, not the boys necessarily, but the parents, the alcohol consumption of girls. And I'm not blaming the girls, but I think you cannot expect a young woman to be ignorant. And this is the job of the parents and the school system, definitely, to inform young women that they need to be careful and not to drink or take drugs and be with men because they can take advantage of them. That is definitely a problem. Also men. Men can also be taken advantage by mostly men, yeah, if they are drunk. So this Netflix series is very recommended. If I was a guidance counselor in school, I would show it to kids, like selected chapters, and start a discussion about choices. And it's so easy to blame the victim because you think, why was she so weak? Why did she commit suicide? Suicide is very extreme, I think, but a lot of people have their spirit broken in high school. I know I was not very popular, but I didn't mind because I was like the character, the lead character in the series, The Boy. I was just like not really interested in what people thought about me. I didn't care to be popular or anything. I think when you want to be popular in high school, you really are going to get a lot of trouble. And it's important to discuss it. Very, very important TV series. And they keep saying, warning, warning. I don't know if it's so dangerous. I think it's dangerous not to watch it and not to become aware of it. It's very Hollywoody, by the fact that things are changing constantly in that TV series, it's always things are changing, like constantly. And I think it's too dramatic in a way. And it says here, wow, till the end of high school, more than 80% of the boys are having sex, girls less. Um, that's interesting. I can just say that I really waited a long time. I was taking care of myself, but not because of my parents, because of my own self and my grandparents maybe. It says here that you should have sex education from 3. I think when I was in kindergarten recently, I had the kids sing a song about my body belongs to me with special needs, but I think it's important, especially in special needs, to teach kids limits. This is my body, and nobody gets to touch me unless I want it. Nobody gets to touch me because when they're young, children don't really understand what it means fully. So just teach kids that this is their body and it's private. So there's a whole big article about this. Let's see if there's anything interesting that he has to say. Yeah, there are games that encourage. Porn is very. It makes objectifies women and men. And she says in social media, there are TikTok girls singing provocative sexual songs. I also think, there's this Christian family, and the girl is a singer, and she sings songs that are not sexual, but they're just not suitable for a 7-year-old. They're about relationships and love and desire. I also remember when my daughter was young that the clothes in H&M were like really for adults. They were black and they were like not at all what I think is suitable for a little girl. I think she should wear more pastel colors and bunnies and things. And it's like there's this hurry to grow up. It says here till age 12, the number of boys and girls that are sexually assaulted is the same. I think it's also important that TV series doesn't point out that there are also boys that are getting abused, and they missed an opportunity to present, like they could have presented a case where a boy is also getting assaulted, because that's also I think something that people need to discuss. And yeah, sex testing. Terrible things. I'm so glad I'm not in school. I'm so glad I'm not a child. I'm so glad that I lived in more naive times, and that my children, they were just on the cusp that these things were coming out. My children were just at the beginning of this. There's a point of time where, especially in divorced families, you have so little to say, and I felt very frustrated, but I think it's very important to talk about things. But this expert recommends not to have sex before the end of the teens and postpone. I think it has to do with social pressure and of course alcohol. She doesn't speak about that, but I'm surprised. But in that TV series, you could see how alcohol causes the girl, or even smoking pot causes the girls to be in a situation where they can't control what's going on with them, and then they get raped like that. So definitely a very interesting, worthwhile TV series. Very difficult to watch, but very compelling. And it's very Hollywood, like it's like very black and white, very fluffy. The way it's either Solitude or Friends. There's nothing in between. And I think it's something with American TV or movies that they can't depict people on their own enjoying life on their own. Like you always have to be either in a relationship or in a group of people. You can't be happy alone, which is really sad. And this girl keeps saying, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. And it's better to be alone than with bad company. Anyway, the municipalities decided to drive us all insane here with the noise. So what else? I have so many books I need to read. So they're having an interview with, I met him. I was in a lecture he gave. This is a poet. Very rare to have religious poets. And he's, I need to read more of him. He wrote a new book. And now we have Parashat Ki-Tisef. Oh, I didn't realize that was the parasha. It's about divorce. So about divorce in Jewish religion, the rabbi says that a woman said, he asked a bride, why do you want to marry religious wedding? She said, I don't want to raise children in a home where each one of the parents can just get up and go. Well, I hate to disappoint her, but in divorce, civil divorce is also not that easy when you have children. But it might be said for the Torah that it is more the protecting women, so it's not so easy to divorce them. Having visited Thailand, where women are just really on their own, always have to have a man to support them. It's definitely Judaism, in theory, is progressive. So, about Nietzsche. So, talked about Nietzsche. Yeah, he's a bit brutal, chauvinistic. Yeah, but when I read when I read books, I definitely look at the background of the writer. So he had a difficult time. So this week, 120 years ago, Nietzsche died, and used to like him, so. So a lot of teenage children, boys, teenagers read Nietzsche. He has moral idea that there is some higher morality, and he's it's like the way I was this week, not feeling sorry for weak people. Yeah. So is he very important? That's the question. So there's no philosophical structure, it says, your social structure, that is Nietzsche. Nihilism, I would say. Kant says he's more talking about moral action. It says here, the culture of PC becomes a religion because we always need substitutes for religion. If you are Nietzscheist, you are a nihilist for humanitarian values, social structure with moral values, a substitute of religion. So Zarathustra is lonely. He says to society, you killed God, but you stayed with his shadow. There's no human society that doesn't need uh, values. Even the idea that life is sacred is from religion. All human society defines sacred and secular. Everybody has a gun. I don't know. I don't know about that. So we have a YouTube star that was abusing children under the age of 14. Horrible. You really have to be so careful, and I think it's up to the parents. And then we have interesting disguise of the rapists. He's dressed like a woman's car. 17 people are involved in the rape of this girl. As I said, you should really watch the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why. It's just it will open so many interesting discussions also about what's happening in this very talked about rape trial. And you really wonder, where are people, and not only the boys that were involved and the men, but where are the parents? Where are the parents of a 16-year-old girl? Where's the hotel? I mean, you have some responsibility as well to watch over what's going on, and especially there's cameras everywhere. So quite despicable. So not something nice. So we have here places where you can interact with animals. I don't have a car, so I can't interact with wild animals, only my animals. So we have Coco Loco. It's a crocodile park. You have Guru Park with kangaroos. I don't like this. One donkey pulling. It's just despicable. Even as a young child, they couldn't stand these kind of things. You have safaris, the bouquet. You have ability to, and this is the nicest, Chavat Chofesh, the Freedom Farm, where animals are rescued from abuse. There, Emek HaTzva'im. You have farms of animals that have been rehabilitated. So that's really nice. I'm definitely going to pull it out, and maybe one day, I don't know, I don't see myself traveling. That's it. I'm going to skip the sports as usual. And yeah, nothing more to say. Have a nice weekend. I forgot to read this section. School starting next week. I have no idea whether I'm going to be working or not. And how was the military? Fires. And the parents are debating whether to send their children to kindergarten, school. Homeschooling becoming more popular, and so forth and so forth. 32 shekels to have tours of the Holocaust Museum. I thought it was for free. It was supposed to be for free. So are we still making money from the Holocaust? I would think that really. I don't understand why it's free and now it's not free. Like normally it doesn't cost money to go to Yad Vashem, and now they charge 32 shekels. Just wondering. Virtual. Is it virtual? The doesn't cost money. It's the tours. I see. The entrance still doesn't cost money. Okay, I'm definitely not doing that. And then a woman speaks about how she was abused um, when she was 13. Wow. I guess you have to be very lucky not to have been abused. So, this woman and how it affected her. I really want to end it in a positive note and not rape stories. For some reason, people are really giving it like enough. I don't really want to read about it because it affects my psyche. Isn't there anything positive? Chedva Amrani, living in Beverly Hills. That's sad. But most Israeli singers are here, which is also quite nice. It's yummy foods for Shabbat, which I would love to make, but I just don't have energy. Batatot, okay, ginger. Good recipes. That's it. Horoscopes. Should I read horoscopes? I'm gonna read mine. Fear fish. So stupid astrology, but let's read. You want everything perfect, but give a chance to fate. Saturday and Friday's extreme social experiences. I don't really think so. Be careful with expenses. My son, and some of you will use your last days of vacation. Try to rest more. You will not be able to do anything on Friday, Saturday because you have responsibility. Sunday, Monday, interesting. You'll meet interesting people. Done with intimate relations. Tuesday at noon, Wednesday, Thursday, you will have to be careful not to get overwhelmed. Yeah. So, and I'll read my daughters. Where is it? Maznai. You're in a disconnection, emotional disconnection, social distancing, emotional distancing. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, very complicated situations at work. I mean, do people really believe that? So, peace and love. Come here.